Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Hope you're having a good morning, day, or night, whichever it may be. I say a lot, I should stop. Okay, so today I'm going to go back kind of to the first video that I did. And instead of reading a book, today I'm going to be reading short stories, but these short stories are they're not scary or anything. They're more on the cutesy side, like sappy stuff like that. So yeah, if you like it, cool. If you don't, oh well. Some people really like that though, so I personally like cutesy stuff, so yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's get started. Okay, I found this on Wattpad. It's called Cute Short Stories by Autumn Breeze 19. Autumn like the season, breeze like the wind, and 19 like the number. If you guys want to go check it out, okay? So let me get started. The first one is called Running for Detention. Turning off my mic, I rushed from my bedroom, grabbing my hoodie along the way. Oh God, I can't be late again. I raced down my stairs and into the kitchen, throwing my hoodie on once I hit the tile floor. Snatching my bag from the counter, I dug out my key, pulled my shoes on, and slammed my front door shut, almost forgetting to lock it after. Why didn't I pay more attention to the time? I have 8 minutes to get there. I checked the time on my phone as my feet pounded down the street. All I had to do was get to school before the bell to avoid what would be my 4th detention in 2 weeks. I need to stop listening to music in the morning. I get too distracted. Counting my steps as I ran, my hopes grew higher as I realized I might actually make it. I may not be the quickest sprinter, but anyone can turn a 20-minute walk into an 8-minute run if they know the shortcuts. Luckily, this wasn't my first early morning sprint, meaning I knew the fastest way. Cutting along someone's yard, I heard a voice yelling behind me, "Run, Allie, run! Don't be late!" The old woman laughed from her porch. Shoot, she'll tell my mom I was late again. I didn't have time to worry about it. Jumping a small chain-link fence into another yard, I felt like Ferris Bueller from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That kept me running an extra bit. Veering onto the street once more, I could see my school 2 blocks ahead. There's no way I'm going to make it. I was barely even jogging at this point. I had no hope of making it. I can't have another detention though. It's a waste of time. I tried my best to speed up when the thoughts of my last detention came to mind. One girl easily distracted by music stuck in a room with 4 troubled boys is not something I want to relive. Not ever. There's no way I'm gonna make it. I slowed down too much. With my school entrance only 100 meters away, I used all of my energy to speed up one last time. I'm gonna make it. I mentally cheered. I had to have only seconds until the bell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I counted my remaining steps. Grabbing the door handle, I ripped it open and almost fell into my school. The bell rang seconds after. Yes, no detention for this girl. I stumbled through the hallway trying to catch my breath along the way to my locker. I made it to my first class with no problems. Taking my seat, I saw students handing papers in. Oh no. No. In my mad dash out the door this morning, I left my homework at home. Quickly thinking of an excuse, I prayed my teacher wouldn't notice my paper wasn't in. Boy, was I wrong. Apparently, I'd forgotten my homework one too many times for that class and ended up with, you guessed it, a detention. Sitting in the back row of desks, I put my hood on and my head down. Why am I so unlucky? The crew of normal boys walked in, immediately noticing my presence in the room. I heard a whistle, but I kept my head down. They snickered in the corner, trying their hardest to get my attention. Detention sucks. I peeked up to see the supervising teacher pop her head in, checking to be sure everybody was there. Frowning, she kept the door open instead of the usually slammed shut and walked down the hallway. Someone else must have detention. Please be someone I know. I covered my head on my desk again. I never want detention again. Never, ever, ever. The boys in the corner finally figured out I wanted no part of them and left me alone. Or so I thought. A finger poking my head sent my head and arms flying up. To say they scared me would be an understatement. What? Hey. I stopped myself from yelling. The boy in front of me was definitely not one from the corner. Hey. His green eyes lit up and a smirk tugged at his lips. Can I help you? I tried to not sound too rude. Nope, he grinned and took a seat beside me. All right, I frowned, putting my head down again. Allie, he whispered. How does he know my name? Allie, he tried again. What? My head shot up. I'm Brayden. His smirk came back. I saw your name on the detention paper. He pointed towards the list hanging on the door. Oh, right. Hey, I suddenly felt embarrassed. Brayden ignored my embarrassment and continued to talk, and talk, and talk. The troubled boys in the corner looked over at Brayden and I a few times while we chatted. With a smirk, you'd think Brayden was a flirt. Turns out he had detention for the same reason I did. You ran through yards? He laughed. I was going to be late. I shrugged. I'd never do that, Brayden admitted. Quieter, so only I would hear. I do it a lot. I laughed back. You're a lot cooler than those guys said you were. He nodded his head in their direction. What did they say now? Worry grew in my stomach. Wait, what? Do I actually care what Brayden thinks of me? I wanted to say no, but I realized maybe I did. He seemed like a good guy. Do I want to be his friend? I couldn't answer that one, mainly because Brayden interrupted my thoughts. Allie? I looked over at him. You zoned out. The teacher said we could go. Oh, yeah. I blushed and stood up. Before today, I'd never seen Brayden. That means I probably won't see him again after this. The thought of it made me sad. I actually really liked talking with him. Even though we didn't talk for long, I liked it. I made my way to the door, not looking back at Brayden. Lee? Brayden used a nickname. He struggled to find something to say. Say something, Allie. It was cool talking to you, I smiled, turning back to the door. That's the thing, though, he started. I want to talk to you again. What? I'm sure we'll see each other in here again. As much as I hate it, I'll be back. I leaned on the doorway, acting as calm as possible. Actually, he stepped forward. I was hoping maybe we could go out sometime. Is this really happening? Oh, that'd be cool. Cool? He grinned. Yeah, it'd be fun. My voice shook slightly. How was I acting so calm? So that's a yes. Brayden laughed. Oh my god. Yeah. Totally. For a girl who jumps fences and runs through yards, I sure have a tough time playing it cool with guys. With a quick exchange of numbers, I left Brayden behind me. Pushing the school doors open to leave, I realized something. Maybe detention isn't so bad. I do keep ending up there, don't I? Okay, that was the first story. Moving on to the second. Okay, so the second is called Hockey Game Seats. Maggie, we're gonna be late, let's go. Em shouted from the front door. One sec, I screamed back at her. Em has no patience when it comes to going out. I ran a brush through my short, brown hair, threw my bag over my shoulder, and took off downstairs. What took so long? You said 5 minutes, not hours. Em, my best friend Emily, complained. And I was 6 minutes. Chill out. I shrugged as I locked my front door and headed towards Em's car. The game starts in like an hour, and I told Cole we'd be there early. She started her car. I'm sure Prince Charming can wait an extra minute, I grumbled as we pulled away from my small one-bedroom house. The ride to the hockey arena was filled with loud music and even louder singing, more or less for me. Em wasn't in the mood to belt out her favorite songs. Her loss, not mine. Checking the dashboard clock, we pulled into the parking lot exactly when we were planning to. 5 p.m. Em jumped out of her car and brushed out her jeans and shirt. Being 5'10" really messes with your clothes when you drive, I guess. I wouldn't know. At 18, almost 19, I'm only 5'6" and have been since grade 9. Mags, Em used my dreaded nickname. Get out so I can lock the car. She really was worried about being late to meet Cole, her boyfriend of 2 years. What's the rush? He knows you're never late. You have been dating for a while, you know. I joked as I hopped out of the car, adjusting my bag as I caught up with him. I don't know. He seemed anxious on the phone. I just want to be sure everything is okay, she explained as we walked up the steps to the ticket booth. He's probably trying to freak you out. He's done it before, I suggested as we stood in line. Em is always concerned about Cole because he's always anxious about things. He doesn't have diagnosed anxiety, but he's probably pretty close to being sent in by Em. They really are perfect for each other though, I will admit. They met in grade 9 when they were both 16, and by February, yes, Valentine's Day, he asked her out. The following year they were dating and have been since. I'm the only one who supported the two of them at the beginning. Em's parents didn't like the idea of dating in grade 11. To be fair, it was halfway through grade 11, and Cole's parents wanted nothing to do with them. She, their words, not mine, was too much of a teacher's pet. I, however, thought them going out was the best thing ever and helped them through everything. Eventually, both sets of parents came around and have gone over any problems they had. Cole has the tickets, Em sighed, checking her purse and pockets over and over. Where is he? I shivered. I hadn't been planning on standing outside for too long when I dressed in a tank top and a small sweater. He just parked and read the text. So he's late? You rushed me for nothing? I laughed. Cole is always late and Em is always early. It's not his fault. He just has organization issues. She defended her boyfriend. Right, and when I'm late, it's all my fault. What took so long? You know what I mean. Em crossed her arms over her chest. Sorry, but can't say that I do. I grinned up at her. Em, Cole's voice came up from behind us. Where's Mac? Oh, hey. He waved as he stepped beside him. He couldn't see me behind her. Sorry, my height is so inconvenient. I rolled my eyes and smiled up at Cole. He's even taller than Em. He's been 6'2" since grade 11. Here's the tickets. He whipped them out from his pocket. Awesome. Let's go. I grabbed them from his hands as the couple stared at each other with hearts in their eyes. Come on, I gave them a shove from behind. You're the ones who wanted to be early. After her tickets were scanned, Em and Cole lost me in the sea of people in the arena. I, of course, could see them because of their heights. I checked my seat number and section on my ticket and went in search of it. Cole and Em probably wanted to walk by themselves anyway. Stumbling and shoving through the crowd, I made it to the right seat section. Practically running down the steps, I looked for row 4 at the bottom. There were two guys who looked like they were in World War. Hopefully I'm not sitting beside them. Maggie, Cole shouted behind me. I waited for the two of them to catch up to me on the stairs. Ooh, those guys might be sitting by us. Em nudged me as we walked the rest of the way. Oh, please, I laughed. I'm not looking for a boyfriend at hockey game. Hey, Em threw her hands up. You never know. Cole grabbed her hand as we got to our row. The guys were in fact in our row, and it gets better. Looks like we're right here. Cole took a seat 3 seats down from them. Cole, can you scoot down? I warned him with my eyes that I wanted nothing more than to stay away from those guys. Sorry, Maggie. Em took a seat. Go down there. She winked. Mumbling under my breath, I sat down beside the two guys who seemed completely oblivious to our presence. Good. You've gotta stop worrying about her. Chelsea is old news, dude. The guy beside me, who looked about 20, was telling his friend. You don't get it, though. She was great, his friend mumbled. Trev, forget her. She's gone. History. Bye-bye, Chelsea. The guy beside me waved with his hand. You're not helping, his sad friend said. I couldn't help but laugh at this point. The guys finally looked over at me, as well as Em and Cole. That was a funny joke, Em, I faked, praying she'd catch on. I thought so too, she smiled and turned back to talk with Cole. Sorry, the guy beside me said. You can have this armrest. He moved his arm for me. Don't worry about it, I smiled, finally getting to see his face. I don't need it. The guy had brown, gelled up hair with blue eyes, and because of how close I was, I could see light freckles across his nose in the light. His friend looked slightly younger. Whether he really was or just looked it, I didn't know. With brown hair and glasses. And neither do I, he laughed, his eyes lighting up. I'm Cameron, and this is Trevor. Cameron pointed, Trevor too busy sulking to look up again. I'm Maggie, I smiled, and my friends Em and Cole. I nodded behind me. Em? Cameron raised an eyebrow. Short for Emily? Everyone calls her Em, though. Trevor here, he elbowed his friend. Likes to be called Trev, don't you? He tried getting his attention. Right, yeah, I'm Trev. The guy extended his hand for me to shake. Nice to meet you. I'm Maggie, if you miss my name. I shook his hand. I'm gonna get some food. Trev, announced. He obviously was in a really bad mood. He's getting over a breakup, Cameron turned to me. He's taking it pretty hard. They'd been dating for a couple months, Cameron shrugged. I pulled out my phone to check the time and, I'll admit, to pretend like I had a text. I wasn't really sure what to say to Cameron. Who are you cheering for? He asked after a few minutes of silence between us. The Chiefs, I hope. Yeah, hopefully they'll win tonight. They always lose when I watch. Really? They win whenever I come. I guess we'll have to see who's more of a jinx. Laughing, I told him, I'm pretty unlucky. It's probably me. But you see, I'm super lucky. Cameron shot me a smirk. I only grinned and shook my head. He has no idea how unlucky I can be. I guess we'll have to wait and see then. I bit my lip and focused my attention back to the ice where the players were warming up. I jumped at the sound of Cameron's phone ringing beside me. Sorry, he apologized. I didn't know it was so loud. After answering his phone, I tried my best to ignore what he was saying. I didn't need to eavesdrop. Kidding me, right? Trev, come on, man. She broke up with you. I got bits. I don't care what you do. Just leave me out of it from now on, okay? Cameron sighed and hung up. I turned to him to see if I could start up a quick conversation before Cameron realized I might have heard some of his phone call. Em? I nudged her. Em? Yeah, Maggie? She turned to face me. I was just going to get a drink. Do you want anything? No, thanks though. She flicked her hair over her shoulder. Cole? I leaned forwards to see him. I'm good. He kept his eyes on the ice. It's only the warm-up, I muttered, bending down to pick up my bag. Where you going? Cameron's attention shot to me. Great. Oh, just going to get a pop. Want anything? I offered. Can I come with you? I got a stretch. Sure. I smiled, waiting for him to get up so I could leave the row. I only then realized how short he was for a guy, about M's height of 5'10". We walked up the steps in silence, both unsure of what to even say, being strangers and all. So, those guys are your friends? Cameron rocked awkwardly while we stood in line. Yep, Em and I have been friends since about grade 7. We met Cole in grade 10 and they started dating in 11. I took my wallet out of my bag. I'll pay. Cameron pulled out his wallet, and that's pretty cool. But doesn't third wheeling it suck? They don't usually ignore me like that. Em wants me to talk to you. They just haven't talked much the past couple of days and they're catching up. I lied. I remember when I'd go out with Trev and his ex Chelsea, I'd always be pushed away like I wasn't there. Cameron said before ordering fries and 2 drinks for us. Thank you. I took my Sprite from him, and I've never really had to deal with that before. Trust me? Cameron moved to the side counter to wait for his fries. I made a vow that I'd never do it again. It was that bad. He left. I stood beside him, sipping my Sprite, watching the crowd of people walk by. Have you ever known somebody who just keeps breaking up and getting back together with the same person over and over? Cameron asked, staring at the drink in his hands. I knew a girl who did, yeah. Trev's like that. Cameron took a sip of his Pepsi. And I know. We just met and it's a weird thing to say, but he won't be sitting with me when we go back down there, and I figured you'd wonder why. I'm guessing he phoned you? I played with my straw. Yeah, he's back with Chelsea. I brought him to this game to help him get over his 3rd breakup with her, but who knew she'd call him crying, wanting to get back together. Cameron grabbed his fries and we started back to our seats. That, I started, really sucks, I know. I can't help much though because I've tried enough, you know? You can only try so hard. I get it. I found the stairs for our section. Realizing Cameron now didn't have anyone at the game with him, I figured he'd go home. You're gonna stay at the game? I asked, once we took our seats. Em and Cole were gone. We have a bet going, don't we? Cameron grinned before digging into his fries. Go! Come on, go! Em screamed beside me. The game had just started the 3rd period, and the Chiefs had a breakaway. She's excited. Cameron laughed beside me. She always is. I laughed back. Since the game started, Cameron and I have been getting to know each other. It turns out we have a lot in common. He just turned 20, like I guessed, and from the big city. He graduated high school the same year Cole and I did, and has been taking a year off before starting university. It turns out that we both were accepted into the same university, taking classes close by each other. As we talked, I realized how well we get along. I felt comfortable talking to him. He seemed to have a personality that makes him comfortable talking to anyone, so I didn't mention it. He told me things about his family, what he wants to do, his favorite movies and music, and that he has only dated one girl back in high school. They broke up because she thought he was too cheesy. We compared stories and laughed at each other throughout the game. Damn it! Why can't we score? Em sunk lower in her chair. Because Maggie's here. I told you not to invite her, Cole joked. Very funny, I glared at him. Next time you're staying at your house, Em grumbled, causing Cole and I to laugh. She says that now, Cameron smirked. The best thing about Cameron was that he got along with Em and Cole. He fit right in. You love me, Em. I rubbed my arm around her shoulder. Right, she muttered, sending me a smile after. We all joked around the rest of the game and didn't realize the game was over until the buzzer scared Em and I. Checking the score, I ripped around to grin at Cameron. I told you I'm the jinx. His eyes darted to the scoreboard and back to me. 4-1 was the final score. Well, I'm lucky in other ways, Cameron smiled. Before I could ask how, Em noticed the kiss cam turn on. What a weird time to turn it on. Everyone's leaving, she said, standing up to go. We all got up and headed up the stairs, taking a quick glance at the top to see who was on the big screen. Oh, look! Em squeezed Cole's hand. We're on it! A quick peck on the lips and they were apart again, but the camera stayed where it was. Let's go. I tried tugging Em's shirt, but ended up letting go and falling into Cameron. Oh my god. Of course I'm this unlucky. Cameron didn't seem to mind. He ignored my multiple apologies and stood me back on my feet. The kiss cam still stayed on us. Everybody was leaving the arena, but it stayed on us. Hey, Maggie? I turned to face Cameron. I'm lucky in the way that I met you. His lips brushed my cheek before I turned bright red. Oh, and cooed behind me, ruining any special moment that could have been. Cole, sensing this, walked towards the door leading outside. I stared at Cameron for a good 30 seconds before either of us said anything. The camera is gone now, he shuffled nervously. I still didn't say anything. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad did I mess up? He winced. I finally spoke up. You're so ridiculously cheesy. Cameron looked at me for a few seconds before we both burst out laughing. I told you I am. He ran his fingers through his hair. And I told you I'm unlucky. Looks like we both proved something tonight, I smirked. But I also proved how lucky I am. You are not lucky. I am too. We argued the rest of the way to the parking lot, hand in hand. Okay. These I'm not... Okay. I like these. Oh my god, that story. I almost burst out laughing like 5 times. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. But I feel like it goes like really fast, like there's no build up. And I don't know. But then again, they are short stories, so what I expect, right? Okay. On to the third one. It's called My English Class Loser. You're such a loser. I leaned over in my chair to whisper to my friend. It's just you rubbing off on me, he smirked before looking back to the board. Scowling, I turned my attention to the front of the class and ignored Daniel to the best of my abilities. It's hard when the idiot is constantly making faces at you and waving his arms around when the teacher isn't looking. Like I said, total idiot. Katie. Psst. Hey, Katie. He leaned over to poke me. Look. Giving in, I glanced over to see a paper ball flying at my face. Gotcha, he laughed, doing his best to be quiet. I hate you, I glared, picking up the paper ball to whip back at him. Daniel and Katie, our English teacher, stood with her hands on her hips. Do I need to ask what you're whispering about? No, I shook my head, growing redder with every pair of eyes that turned around to look at us. Good. Now everyone pull out your books, we're going to be... I tuned her out after that. I got to work reading my book and answering the assigned questions. Daniel obviously hadn't heard me declare my current hate for him. Or he just didn't care. Katie, Daniel scooted his desk beside mine. I need help. I've known that for a while. My cousin knows a few doctors if you want their numbers. I stated with fake politeness, adding a smile to the end. Not that kind of help, he grumbled, trying to peek at my answers. Go away, I shoot him. Just read the book. The answers are all there. But it's so much work, Daniel sighed. Give me number 1. I don't think so. Please? Nope. Come on, Katie, he smiled. I'll love you forever. Ew. I bit the inside of my lip to keep from laughing. Pretty, please. You waved a paper ball at me. I waved it in his face. There's no way I'm helping you. Daniel kept quiet after that. Finally. I'll see you tomorrow, my friend Anna waved as she walked to her bus outside. See ya, I called after her, closing my locker. I picked up my bag from the ground and hoisted it over my shoulder. Taking the shortcut through the school hallways to the back doors, I caught sight of Daniel with his friends. Looking at the ground, I didn't bother smiling or saying hi to him. We don't talk outside of class much, especially if his friends are around. And no, it has nothing to do with him being popular, because he's not, or his friends not liking me, or that Daniel is too embarrassed to talk to me outside of class. It's none of those things. We just don't. For whatever reason, English is our hangout time, and anything after that is for our other friends. Weird. Yes. Does it bother me? Sure. It didn't at the beginning because I thought maybe he just didn't want to seem clingy outside of class. Soon, though, I realized it would just always be like that. It's just how things are between us. I sped up as I passed Daniel and his friends, just so he wouldn't see me. As I did this, a classroom door opened and, yes, hit me. Falling to the ground, I scrambled to pick myself up before anyone behind me noticed. Damn. Oh my god, are you okay? A girl younger than me asked. Yep, just fine. I stood up, brushing myself off. From there, I practically ran the rest of the way to the back doors. My walk home was uneventful, and I was thankful. Both my parents were at work for a few more hours, so I had the house to myself. Unpacking my bag, I felt my phone vibrating in my pocket. Daniel. My caller ID read. Why is he calling me? Ignoring my thoughts of letting it go to voicemail, I picked up. Hello? Hey Katie, what's up? Just unpacking my bag. I started pacing my bedroom. Did you just get home? Yeah. It's like 3:30. Why did it take you half an hour? Daniel sounded seriously concerned. I don't know. Maybe because I live half an hour from the school? I laughed, realizing how little he actually knows about me. Our whole relationship was built on one English class when we were assigned a seating plan, putting us beside each other. Since then, we haven't exactly gotten to know each other. Sure, the occasional fact about the other comes up in conversation, but nothing too serious. It takes you that long to drive home? Now I was really laughing. No, it takes half an hour to walk home. I don't have a car, hence the no driving to and from school. Daniel went quiet on the other end for a few seconds. You walk every day, he asked, finally. Yes. In the rain? Yup. Snow? When does it ever snow here? I laughed again, wondering why he even called me. Okay, but you walk in the rain. I already said yeah. Since when? Since forever? Daniel was getting frustrating. And since the time we met back in September, you've never thought of calling me for a ride. His voice told me he was upset that I never thought of the idea. Nope. I flopped down on my bed. Why'd you even call? What? I'm not allowed to call you? I could tell he was smirking. His tone changed fast. You never do. I'm hurt. Daniel faked a sad voice. First, I find out you walk in all weather and never thought of calling me for a ride. And then you accuse me of never calling you. It hurts, Katie. Fine, I'm sorry. Now, what do you want? I rolled onto my stomach. We're hanging out. I'll pick you up in 15 minutes. Daniel stated quite confidently. Am I now? I teased. I actually have plans. Oh, really? His tone hinted he was disappointed. No, you loser. It's Wednesday after school in the middle of a very cold February. What plans could I possibly have? I laughed, knowing he had believed me before. So we can hang out. You're such an idiot. I shook my head, even though he couldn't see me. Yeah, we can hang out. Good. I'll pick you up. Well, it's not like I'm walking anywhere to meet you. I joked. Right. Okay. See you soon. Daniel hung up before I could say anything else, only to call me back asking for my address. He's a true idiot. He just asked you to hang out, just out of nowhere. And a question as we left the changing rooms after PE. It was really weird, I nodded. You know, it sounds like a certain somebody is falling for you. Anna winked as we left the gym, heading to our lockers for lunch. He is not, I frowned. Daniel doesn't like me. Not like that anyway. He just wanted to hang out. Right. Keep telling yourself that. She laughed, stopping at her locker to grab her lunch. Believe what you want, I rolled my eyes. He doesn't like me like that. The rest of lunch was spent explaining why Daniel doesn't like me and listening to Anna give reasons why he does. By the time the bell rang, we were both feeling the same way with our arguments. I'll see you after school. Anna left me at my locker. We only have our morning classes together, leaving after school as our time to quickly catch up about our last 2 classes. Walking to English, I knew I had to be right about Daniel. He didn't like me, simple as that. Oh good, you are here. Daniel sighed as I took my seat. Why wouldn't I be? I raised an eyebrow. I just haven't seen you today, he shrugged it off. So what you doing after school? Walking home, I laughed. After that, Daniel gave me a look. Nothing. Wanna do something again? Daniel asked hopefully. Yesterday when we hung out, he drove me around to random shops to look around. It's safe to say a lot of money was spent on candy. A lot. Sure, I smiled. It'd been a lot of fun before. Do you need to go home? He lowered his voice as our teacher walked in. After school? Daniel nodded. No, I whispered, slowly shaking my head. Good, we can leave from the school then. He smirked before looking back to the teacher, leaving me gasping at his sudden urge to hang out with me so much. What is going on? Daniel continued to ignore me the remainder of class. I shot as many glances as I could and whispered as loud as I dared. I knew he heard me. Tossing a paper ball or two, he still didn't look, just simply grinned. Giving up, I focused on my work until the bell rang, determined to escape the classroom before Daniel could try anything on me. Last block flew by, and before I knew it, it was the end of the day. Grabbing my things from my locker, I figured Daniel would meet me here. So, I started walking home. Technically, I never agreed to leave with him from the school. He just assumed. Taking a different way through the house to avoid Daniel and his group, I pushed open the back doors of the school. It was pouring rain. Luckily, I kept an umbrella in my bag for days like this. As quick as I could, I whipped it out and started my long trek home. Halfway there, I felt my phone vibrate in my bag. Stopping to dig it out, a truck slowed beside me, careful not to splash me. Katie, what the hell are you doing? Daniel rolled his window down. Grocery shopping, I replied sarcastically. I thought we were hanging out after school. He ignored my comment. We are. I just never agreed to leave with you from the school. Get in. Buckled in and happy to be out of the rain, I checked my phone to find 4 new messages, a missed call, and a voicemail, all from Daniel. Desperate to get a hold of me, I smirked. More like worried because I had no idea where you were. He kept his eyes on the road. Worried? Pfft. More like you didn't want to be blown off. I adjusted my seatbelt. I was worried, especially because you weren't answering my texts. Since when do you worry about me? I frowned, shaking my head. We've barely ever texted, and you called me for the second time ever yesterday. The only real time we talk is English. Suddenly, the atmosphere in his throat was tense, something I've never had when around him. I noticed Daniel tense up slightly at my comments, but he kept his eyes on the road. You think I don't care? His eyes shot over to me as we sat at a red light. Obviously not as much as you think you do. I pushed my bangs back. The red was silent until Daniel pulled into my driveway. Thanks for the ride. I opened the door. Sorry for being so inconvenient when it comes to hanging out. And with that, I walked to my front door. Friday morning, I woke up not wanting to go to school. Telling my mom I needed a break, she finally agreed to let me have my once-a-month day off. Kicking back in the living room recliner in my pajamas, I watched cartoons for as long as I could. Being 17, I got bored of them pretty quick. After my shower, I shuffled back downstairs to the chair to play on my phone. I found 3 new messages. Katie, I gotta talk to you. I don't even know what happened yesterday. You're not at school? I talked to Anna. Where are you? Oh god, I swear I'm not as creepy as that last message makes me seem. All from Daniel. Deciding to reply later, I set my phone to the side, only to have it go off again. What happened with you and Daniel? He just asked me where you were and then looked super worried that you weren't at school. I told him you probably just wanted the day off. I hope everything's okay. And this message popped up. I sent a short reply back before curling up in the chair. I don't even know what happened yesterday. Daniel was really upset that I ditched him to walk home in the rain, and I guess telling him that he didn't care about me was a little much on my part. I'll admit that. But why was he so hurt by that? What I said was true. We really don't talk. We only talk in English. Us hanging out outside of school was weird. At some point while I was curled up in the chair, I fell asleep. I only woke up because somebody rang the doorbell a couple 100 times. Groaning, I fixed my hair as I thought of which neighborhood kid it could be at the door. I opened the door only to slam it shut again. It wasn't a kid whose soccer ball landed in my backyard again. It was Daniel. The doorbell began ringing over and over again. Okay, I opened the door. You can stop that now. Sorry, he shuffled, noticing my annoyance. Why do you shut the door? I wasn't expecting you to be standing there. I laughed silently. Surprise, he grinned. There was an assembly at school, so I left to come see you. Why? I tried to forget what happened between us yesterday. I thought maybe we could hang out. Daniel shoved his hands in his pockets. You know, to make up for yesterday. Ever heard of a cell phone? I decided to tease him. Most people use one instead of randomly showing up at someone's house. Hey, I tried that one. You didn't reply. He put his hands up. Laughing, I shrugged and let him inside. I'm sorry for my weird freak out. Daniel apologized as we sat in my living room. Let's just forget it, okay? I smiled. I do care though. Obviously, if you drove out here to visit me. I started braiding my hair to keep it out of my face. I do like you. Daniel scratched his head. Well, I'd hope so. We are friends. No, I heard you and Anna. I do like you. I froze. Very funny, Daniel. I get it. You like me as a friend. I pushed my bangs back and tied the end of my braid. Kitty, I'm not kidding. Why do you think I was so worried that you thought I didn't care? Daniel stood up. Daniel, this isn't funny. I shot him a flat look. I'm not trying to be funny, Kitty. I like you, alright? I realized the other day I should hang out with you more because, well, we never hang out. Daniel wasn't kidding. He would never go this far to mess with me. You're not kidding? I managed to stutter. No, he shook his head. I'm really not. But I'm so confused. You're not mad though? Mad? Because you like me? No way. I played it cool. Completely and utterly shocked, though. It wasn't obvious to you? Daniel laughed. Should it have been? I've liked you since November. I hid it pretty well until I realized how little I actually knew about you, and then I finally raked up the courage to ask you to hang out, he admitted. You're such an idiot, I laughed. But I'm hoping to be your idiot, he smirked. Daniel, I chucked a pillow over at him. You set me up for that one, he grinned as he set the pillow flying back. You're such a loser, I caught it with both hands. But you're my loser. Oh, guys, I kid you not, I want to laugh at all of these. Not because they're dumb or anything, just because it just makes me, want to laugh. I don't know why. I think there's parts in the stories where I'm like, oh my god, this shit is so funny, I can't right now. Okay. So this is the 4th story. I'm pretty sure it's a continuation of the second one with and Maggie and Cole. and Cameron. Well, not Cameron, but him and Maggie and Cole. Okay, so just setting up for that. It's called How We Met. Guess what? My best friend ran up to me as I stood by my locker. What? I didn't bother looking up at my math review sheet. There's a new kid. Even being in grade 10, Maggie is always excited when new students arrive. Oh, cool. I kept reading over my math questions. Come on, Em. Maggie ripped the paper from my hand. A new student is here. Don't you want to meet him? Him? I stopped trying to grab my paper back. Maggie laughed. I knew that'd get your attention. Yes, he's a boy. Now come on. She practically picked me up. Our school might be big, but the amount of decent guys in grade 10 or even 11 was slim. So a new guy was always something. And no, Maggie and I never actually wanted to date the new guys. It was just entertaining to watch the other girls trip over themselves to get to the guys. Maggie seemed to know exactly where she was going as we beelined through the crowded halls towards the office. You must still be checking in. Maggie slowed her pace after rounding a corner. A huge group of girls were crowding something. Or someone. I'm too short, Maggie went beside me. Being 5'6", she was always complaining about her height. At 5'10", I'd be perfectly fine with sharing some of my height with her. I don't mind it, but when most guys haven't had a growth spurt yet, you seem like a giant. I can see just fine, I teased, as I craned my neck to look over the crowd. Whatever. Maggie folded her arms across her chest. Let's just go. Those girls won't be leaving his side for a while anyway. I took one last glance behind me. At the same time, a boy broke free from the crowd, his face showing relief. He sent me a smile and grinned when he realized I was staring. My cheeks burned as I turned on my feet to catch up with Maggie. That was embarrassing. The rest of the week went fast. The new boy, Cole, had 3 of 4 classes with Maggie and I, and spent them being crowded with girls. Typical. But he seemed happier when they weren't tossing 100 different questions in 30 seconds at him. He always looked relieved when he could get away. As the week went by, fewer girls crowded him, and Cole didn't try talking to the ones who had left. Do you think he's just playing uninterested? Maggie asked me as we left our class on Friday. I don't know, I shrugged. You know, he is cute, Maggie winked at me. Sure, I shrugged again. Oh, come on, Maggie waited for me as I stopped to grab my bag from my locker. What's wrong? I'm only teasing. I know, it's just been a long week, I smiled. Hey, wanna go to a hockey game tomorrow? She asked, grinning up at me. A Chiefs game? I frowned. Yeah, I have tickets. They always lose when you go though, Maggie. I laughed at her. Maybe this time they won't. She laughed with me as we made our way through the halls to her locker. You are pretty unlucky, I teased her. Fine, don't come, she grumbled. I was about to say something back when I jumped from a voice startling me from behind. Excuse me. Moving over, I turned to apologize, but could only stare. Maggie nudged me. Oh, sorry, I mumbled to both Cole and Maggie. I never realized Cole's locker was 3 down from Maggie's, and of course, I had to stand right in front of it. After being caught staring at him on Monday, I've done my best to avoid him. I didn't need him bringing that up. Turns out I can't help but stare at him. Don't worry about it, he smiled at me again, the same one he gave me on Monday. I kept my back to him after that, only hearing the occasional fumbling of binders. Ready? Maggie asked, closing her locker. I nodded in response. Wait. We turned to see Cole staring. You guys have classes with me, right? Way to observe your surroundings, Maggie mumbled under her breath. Yeah, we do, I elbowed her before sending a smile to Cole. I never got to introduce myself. He stuck out his hand. You probably know, but I'm Cole. Shaking his hand, I told him my name and introduced Maggie. I'll actually remember your names. Cole laughed, making me smile. What do you mean? Maggie looked up at him. She always has to look up to people. But I'll admit, even I had to look up to him a bit. He was probably 6 feet. A lot of girls introduced themselves to me all at once this week. It's a wonder how I managed to even hear their names when they told me. You two are about the only ones who didn't. Cole scratched his head. Oh, was all I managed to say. I know you want to go home, he grinned. I'll see you guys on Monday. Waving, Maggie and I left the school without saying much else to each other. In the car, I heard Maggie mumble something about him being nice, but that was it. That was definitely not how I imagined meeting him. As the following weeks passed, I noticed Cole making new friends and the girls leaving him alone. For the most part, he started chatting it up with Maggie and I every now and then during class or while we were at Maggie's locker. By the start of the 4th term, Cole came at the beginning of the 3rd. He was hanging out with Maggie and I regularly. Becoming friends with him wasn't something I expected to happen, but I was happy with it. He was a lot of fun and easy to get along with. The only problem was I liked him a lot by the time we were considering each other friends. Just my luck. Are you ever going to tell him? Maggie nudged me as she caught me staring at Cole down the hallway again during our lunch break. Tell him what? I act clueless. Oh, I don't know, maybe that you're totally and completely in love with him. You could start there. Maggie shrugged like she hadn't said anything like that. I don't. I paused to lower my voice. Love him. It's a small little crush that'll go away. I tried to reassure the both of us. Right, and I never use sarcasm. She laughed. We're both lying here. I'm not telling him anything. Pointed at Maggie as Cole started towards us. I'm not telling him anything. I pointed at Maggie as Cole started walking towards us, and neither are you. Hey, he took a seat beside me on the floor. And Maggie, he waved. What's up? Maggie had the biggest and stupidest grin ever on her face. She obviously thought me liking him was the greatest thing ever, or the funniest. Let's hope it's the first one. I figured I'd come sit with you guys. Why? Did all of your other friends ditch you? Maggie teased him. No, he said sheepishly. I ditched them. Maggie instantly began stuttering and searching for something to say. Sorry, I was only kidding. She blushed beside me. Laughing, Cole said it was alright. They were about to ditch me anyway to go get pizza. I don't have any money. He slapped his pockets. Oh, Maggie was no longer embarrassed. So we're the ones you come to when you're bored and alone? Her tone suggested she was angry, but I knew she was only joking. No, it's not like that. Cole's eyes widened as he shook his head. I swear, I like hanging out with you guys. Either it was a crush talking or it really happened, but I swore he looked at me when he said it. I smiled at him. He smiled back. I looked back at my lunch before I ended up staring at him longer than needed. Get it together, Em. Forget him. He's only a friend. By the time the school year ended, I wasn't crushing on Cole any less. It was possible that I actually liked him more than before. Over the summer, Maggie, Cole, and I spent as much time as we could together. All three of our families took a vacation, all at different times too. Maggie and I didn't hang out with Cole when the other one was on vacation. She told me it was because you're the one who keeps us from killing each other. But I knew she did it because I liked him. The summer flew by, and before any of us realized, school was back in session and we were stuck in grade 11. By January, Maggie and I had a countdown before spring break started. The break was needed and well deserved. So, Maggie caught up with me in the hallway after school one day. It's almost Valentine's Day, you know. And I laughed. And that would be the perfect time to tell Cole you've been crushing on him for like a year. Right, because I'm going to tell him after this long. Maggie's sarcasm has been rubbing off on me. You should. She chucked her binders into her locker without a care. Wouldn't you want to know if your good friend has been and still is crushing on you for almost a year? I'm not going to do it. I bit my lip. I can't. You can't what? Cole snuck up behind me. I was just chickening out of a dare I gave her. Maggie showed me a mischievous look. What's the dare? His face lit up with curiosity. She has to tell you. I'm not telling. She zipped her lips shut. He grinned at me. I'm not telling. I shook my head. No way. I'll tickle it out of you, he warned. Over the past year, Cole has figured out that tickling me is the worst possible thing to do to me, and I'll tell you just about anything. You wouldn't, I narrowed my eyes. It's just a dare, isn't it? Maybe I will. Cole laughed. I took a sprinting down the hallway before either of them could stop me. I need to avoid Cole, and that I did. For the next week, I kept my distance from both Cole and Maggie. Cole was easy to hide from. He had no idea where to look for me at the school. Maggie, though, she knew exactly where to look. I had to run from her throughout the week at lunchtimes just to be sure Cole never found me. Being my best friend, Maggie knew why I was hiding. If Cole caught me, he would most definitely try to get me to spill whatever dare I had chickened out of, and I'd tell him I like him. Tickling really got to me. Finally, I deemed it safe enough to talk with Cole again. Truth is, I actually missed talking with him. Maggie caught me enough times the week before that I gave up hiding from her. So, that Monday I told Cole I had been doing homework at lunch because I needed a babysit after school all last week. He believed me. I thought maybe you were avoiding me. Cole ran his hand through his hair. You're right. Oh no, I just had homework. I felt terrible for lying. It was weird not talking to you, he admitted. Same here, I laughed, looking down at the floor. I looked up. I got you something. Cole reached into his open locker to grab whatever it was. What? Why? Because it's Valentine's Day. Cole's cheeks turned bright red. Oh my god, it is. But I don't have anything for you. My mood dropped. If I hadn't been such a baby last week, we would have been able to talk about getting each other something. Here, he handed me a pink teddy bear, a box of chocolates, and a rose. Why so much? I couldn't keep my heart rate from speeding up. I don't know, well, you should probably just read the card. He laughed nervously. Handing him the bear and rose to hold, I took the card and I hadn't even noticed off the box of chocolates. My pulse quickened as I ripped open the envelope. The card had a teddy on it, just like the one Cole bought me, and it had a speech bubble saying, "Hey you, there's something I've got to tell you." Opening the card, I saw a paragraph written on the inside and the bear's speech bubble on the side saying, "Here goes. So it probably seems weird that I'm giving you a bunch of stuff for Valentine's Day, but I don't mean for it to be weird. I'm always getting really nervous about things, and whenever I've gone to tell you this, the nervousness comes and I can't. I figured if I waited until today, I could give you a card and just write it. I like you a lot. Will you go out with me? Cole." Looking up, Cole's face was redder than I'd ever seen it. He glanced over at me, trying for a smile. So, I stopped him by rushing over for a hug. "I hope that's a yes," he grinned down, setting my teddy and rose in his locker. "Yes, it is," I laughed, feeling his arms wrap around me. "Oh my god, and Cole sitting in a tree. Kissing," Maggie sang behind us. "Shut up," I smiled. "You know, Cole, has a lot of explaining to do." I saw Maggie wag her eyebrows. I had a feeling she would. Cole sent me a grin before handing me back my gifts. Where do I even start? Okay, everybody. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if these stories made you laugh, because, oh my god, I wanted to burst out laughing, like, every single story too. It was so weird. And it's not because they're bad, once again, they're not bad, like, they're cute stories. It's just, I think parts of it just, I don't even know. Maybe I have a weird sense of humor, I have no idea. But, yeah, like, let me know if you guys, like this, or like these stories. If you guys did like these stories, you can just look up Q short stories by Autumn Breeze 19 on Wattpad, and they'll come up if you guys. There's a ton of them. I obviously didn't read all of them, but there's like a lot, so you guys could read those if you want. And yeah, let me know if you guys want me to read a specific book or story or anything like that, and I will make sure to do it. I hope you guys have a great morning, day, or night, whichever it may be for you guys. And yeah, that is it. I'll see you guys next time, and if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys want more videos like this, like these types of videos, please subscribe. Like, I really do appreciate that. So and yeah, thank you guys. Bye.